Welcome to session 6.
Yeah.
We are going to talk about the creative cycle. And let me just say, I'm laughing only because, I don't feel like, we've talked about this, how you think in your mind. I'm not so much a perfectionist until things aren't perfect. And then you recognize, okay, maybe I have a problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with, control, and the creative cycle, just like business, can feel just like this. And when you have a real hard time with control, it can be a problem. So to begin with, let's just say for your creativity and for your creative business, that cycle is normal.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's normal to begin your business and then you're in a place of growth.
Right. So
this is business 101.
You're going like this.
We're in growth, and then we're going to plateau for a little while. Things get a little flat and a little stagnant. And usually next comes a fun little dip downwards. And that's what we call decline.
It's not like a roller coaster where it's like,
Right.
That's the best part.
No.
It's like where you're like,
Right.
That's when you think like it's all going in the toilet. It's all just, there it goes.
Exactly. And I think for, if you have a job in corporate America, you're ready for that. That's a normal part of business and work and the boardroom, so to speak, But when you do creative work, just because I don't have a better word, the high of growing is so incredible, and it is so wonderful, and it feels so dang good to have recognition and income from the work that you've produced creatively. It is a blow the first time that it actually, declines a little bit. But it's normal. It's normal. And we wanted to talk about it because it's part of what people, you can get really stuck if you're not careful.
Yeah, or quit.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people quit because they feel like it's them. Like what I'm doing is now no longer working. Yeah. The market is changing. Now I've lost the magic touch or whatever. When the truth is, when you first start, there's nowhere to go but up. Like you're starting.
You started at zero.
Right. So even if you're earning, $25 a month, that's, you've kind of gone up. And so I think, and we started at a time about 10 years ago in blogging where things were changing so rapidly, and it was a really exciting,
exploding.
Yeah, it was just an exciting time in that companies were starting to recognize our value and were clamoring to work with bloggers and to partner with them. And Pinterest hit the scene, Instagram hit the scene.
We sound so old. But
I know.
True.
Back before the internet when we did.
Well, no, just the fact that we were blogging when Pinterest started is just bizarre and funny. Yeah.
Right. So it was just an exciting time. And also a time when magazines were starting to recognize bloggers as, hey, we can start scouting
this and decorating. Right.
Yeah. We can discover new homes to shoot and people to feature. They started featuring bloggers in magazines. Yeah. So it was like, it just seemed like every week you're getting a new
opportunity.
Yeah, a new opportunity. And then, then things just change. There's more bloggers. There's maybe more, more influencer opportunities on Instagram, or maybe you just have to shift your business. You move and that market's not as good anymore. Or, or it just, even something as simple as, when Facebook changed their algorithm, it completely sucked the air out of all of the traffic I was getting from Facebook. I wasn't getting it anymore. Yeah. And it showed me how reliant I was on that. Yeah. And then it started to those follower numbers, instead of going up, were just like, well, they tanked and then just plateaued. And then it was like, but I wasn't doing anything different. It wasn't like,
all of a sudden you were a new person.
It was just, they changed the algorithm and that was it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the important part to plan for, mentally and financially, is that you don't always have control over this part. This is the part that you don't always have control over. It is a natural flow of supply and demand and change in the marketplace, no matter what it is that you're doing. Now I sound like I'm teaching a course at, business school, but it's true, no matter what your creative work is, your business will shift in this way. It will go through this cycle, sometimes over and over and over. So it's an important thing to plan for. And just by recognizing that it is normal for you to have a period of extreme growth and to plan for the moment where it slows down a little, And you'll hear some people say in business, there's no such thing as you're either growing or you're declining. Now, I would say it's a little harsh, and sometimes the moments of pause in between growth and decline are a gift, for you to prepare. But I would say, do you feel like you've gotten to a place now that your business is established enough that you feel like, I know now to prepare, to actually mentally prepare, or even financially for the moments where it kind of, it dips?
Yeah, I've learned both. That I need to be wise when there's a boom. I'm financially getting a lot of income, setting that aside for times, months that are slower. So I've worked on that over the last few years.
Yeah.
And the other thing, just knowing that it's normal and not, I think there was a period of a couple of years when sort of that Facebook algorithm changed and my blog traffic was slowing down, and where I just felt there was that feeling of like,
it's all going away.
Done. It's all, what am I going to do next? Like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
But, so not only do I have, I have my planning for it mentally and planning for it financially, but I also have a lot of business ideas and like parts of my business that are sort of dormant that I can fire up again if I need to. So there's sort of this, like, if one part isn't doing well, I can go ahead and crank up another part and get that going a little bit better. So I really unintentionally set up this web of diversity that's actually given me then lots of options, so that if something falls off willingly or it's involuntary, there are other things that I can do. There's other things I can do. So it's not, I have to completely quit and go get a real job. I can.
Oh, honey, if this is not all a real job.
I know, exactly. But
we're in trouble.
People don't always consider a real job. But if I had to, I wouldn't have to do that. I can simply shift my business. So I think it's helped me knowing that. And I think, like we talked about actually with not being so niche, that's
the biggest gift of
that's really helped me out a lot, that I just feel like there's a lot I can do. There's other areas I can make revenue. So that's helped me to not freak out quite as much when I'm sort of on those loops and dips and things that happen in those cycles.
Well, and I think ideally, if we can get to a place where we actually welcome that's just part of business, and it's part of creativity. Your creative cycle is the same way. New ideas and inspiration, and the roller coaster wave of watching those play out and unfold. Eventually you hit a place where you do lull, and then you might just have nothing new for 6 months. There's just no new ideas or new creations that you've come up with, or things that you don't feel super passionately about. So it's the same with your actual creative process. So it's important to get to a place where we just welcome it and understand that that's part of it. And then you're able to let it go. It doesn't control all the decisions you make, about your business. And I would encourage you during those parts of your, just like I would tell myself, of your business cycle, don't make major decisions during the beginning of a decline. Mm-hmm. Just wait. Or at the beginning of growth. Wait a few months, wait 2-3 months and see how, and I mean major decisions. We're talking about, big moves with your business, or
like
deciding,
hiring people, firing people, upsizing your space, downsizing your space,
buying the building, whatever give things some time to shake out. That's just a little caution, but at the same time, there's some wisdom in that, to take a moment and see what this piece of your cycle is going to look like. How long is it going to last? What will it look like? What kind of revenue will you bring in from it? Those are wise things to do, to just, take your time and move through it, in a way that you feel really prepared for, when things do lull for a little bit, and it's okay.
And I would say, don't put yourself in a position when you are on that upswing of success, don't put yourself in a position where you have to maintain that, or there's devastation. And I think that that's maybe one of the biggest mistakes that you see businesses make, is that they're in this boom time. So they expand, and then they overextend themselves. They are paying too many people. They have too much overhead, too many buildings. They planned for this surge to just keep going and going and going. And then when it doesn't, then they're in trouble. Then they have to start. And that can happen on a very small scale. Like, even if you just hire one person, or even if you just decide you want to move to a bigger house and buy it, or rent a bigger space or something. And then you end up in this spot where it's like, oh, wow, that was a blip. That was not an upward, that wasn't the surge that's going to continue. So I think you have to definitely temper yourself to make sure that you don't get too excited, but also then on the flip side, when it's going down, that it's not
devastation.
This is going to go all the way back to zero.
Right. There's a balance. A balance. And that's all about, I would encourage you to take a little time and just write down, use your journal, write down what would that look like? What would growth look like for your business? Does that mean, for us in the beginning of that blogging, that was obviously mostly focused around numbers,
right? It was
page
followers
views and followers, and so in that form of our business now, we would probably both say different things, would be the measurements for that. So, or at least those have been added in. So I think for you, identify what it is that you view as that growth trajectory. What does growth look like, and what would decline look like? Is that a set number of sales? Is that what is it? And so that you can mentally prepare. It's a little like, what we were talking about earlier, putting a name, to what failure looks like.
Right.
It does take a little bit of the edge off, and it makes it it's part of it, just like with marriage, it's all the things that come with it are just part of it. It's not this perfect picture of, romance all the time and all the things. So, being a parent, we're going to struggle. That's part of it, so the more we can do that for our businesses, the more we're ready, I think, to just accept what comes next and roll through it, move through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are going to talk about staying in love with your work next, which is a little happier topic, I will say, than this one. But
it is. It is. I mean, the cycle is so important to know, because then as you're watching this, you might be like, oh, thank goodness.
Right.
This little dip I'm feeling isn't.
Oh, and you'll feel it all the time.
Yeah, it's just
it'll
normal.
come back. Yep.
But yeah, staying in love with your work is so important. That's what's going to make your business go for 20 years or 30 years or however long you want to do it. And so it's an asset that you need to protect.
Yeah.
Yep. So we'll talk about that next time.